All right, welcome back to the Dental Marketing Mix. I'm Dan Bryan. I'm the co-founder of DentalScapes, and this is the show where we cut through the noise and talk about what's actually working and what isn't in dental marketing right now, 2026. No fluff, no theory, just real actionable insight for practice owners who want to grow smarter. Today, folks, I want to ask you something. When was the last time you asked ChatGPT for a recommendation? Probably not too long ago, right? Maybe you asked it to help you find a vendor or research a product or figure out which service was right for you. And you probably got a clear, confident answer. And maybe right below that answer, you noticed a new sponsored placement from a brand you've never heard of before. That's new, and it matters for your practice. Because this is the thing, ChatGPT now has over 500 million weekly active users. That's not a niche audience. That is a massive share of the population actively using AI to make decisions, including decisions about where to get dental care. And as of early 2026, as we've reported on this show previously, OpenAI opened the door to paid advertising directly inside that experience. We're in the very beginning of this, and dental practices that understand it now have a real window of opportunity that won't be open forever. So today on the show, we're going to talk about what ChatGPT ads actually are, how they work, what we've seen so far, including the parts that are genuinely exciting and the parts that are still pretty rough around the edges, and why getting in early could give your practice a meaningful competitive advantage before everyone else catches up. And I want to be upfront. At DentalScapes, we've been in this platform since the early days of the rollout. We're already running ChatGPT ad campaigns, which means everything I'm about to share isn't just what we've read, it's what we've lived firsthand. So let's start with the basics. ChatGPT ads launched in the US in early 2026, reaching users on the free tier. The format is straightforward. When a user asks a relevant question and ChatGPT generates a response, a sponsored placement can appear, clearly labeled in a subtly tinted box below that response. It's not interfering with the answer itself. OpenAI has been very firm on that. The AI gives you its honest answer, and then a relevant ad may appear underneath it. That distinction is actually important for trust, and so far user dismissal rates have been low, which tells you something about how non-intrusive the ads actually are. Now, here's where it gets interesting for dental practices specifically. The targeting system is not keyword-based like Google Ads. It's contextual. Instead of bidding on terms like dentist near me or Invisalign cost, advertisers write what OpenAI calls context hints. This is plain language. They're descriptions of the types of conversations where their ad should appear. It might be something like, quote, when users are asking about straightening their teeth or improving their smile. The system will then match your ad to relevant conversations based on those signals. That's a genuinely different way to think about reaching potential patients because you're showing up inside a conversation where someone is actively researching. They're not just browsing or scrolling past something. Now, let's talk about the reality of where this platform is right now because it's still very early and there are some legitimate friction points you need to know about. For one, access is not instant. When ChatGPT ads first rolled out, getting in required applying through OpenAI's business portal and waiting for approval. We went through this process ourselves. The review and onboarding experience was, well, let's just call it unpolished. There were delays. Communication from OpenAI was definitely inconsistent. And in some cases, advertisers who applied in January and February didn't get real traction until April or May when a self-serve ads manager quietly opened. The UI itself has been clunky, to put it mildly. If you've spent time inside Google Ads or Meta Ads Manager, you understand what a mature platform looks like and is capable of. ChatGPT's ads manager is not like that. Not yet. It's a three-tier structure of campaigns, ad groups, and ads, which is familiar enough, but the options are very thin. As of now, there's essentially no demographic targeting, no behavioral audiences, no interest segments the way you'd find on Meta. And as of now, geographic targeting only goes down to the country level. not the city, not the zip code, not the radius around your practice. That's a significant limitation for a local business like a dental practice, and it's something OpenAI will almost certainly address, but it's a real constraint right now. There are contextual hints you can give to work around that, but we'll talk about that in another episode. We've also seen instances of sloppy contextual matching. Because the system is still learning, ads have shown up in conversations where the contextual fit was loose at best. If you run a campaign and you're not monitoring it closely, you could end up paying for placements that have nothing to do with dental care or your ideal patient. That's the nature of a new platform. The guardrails just aren't fully built yet. And I'll be honest, the results so far, they're mixed. Some early advertisers are seeing strong engagement. There's a data point from Criteo looking at LLM referred traffic that found that users coming from AI platforms converted at roughly 1.5 times the rate of users from other channels, which makes intuitive sense because someone who just had a conversation with ChatGPT about teeth whitening and clicked a link is probably more primed to act than someone who passively scrolls through a bunch of links and maybe clicks on a search result. But for those success stories, there are also advertisers who struggled with attribution, with volume, and with making sense of what performance actually looks like in a system that's still figuring itself out. So is this a platform you should dive all in on and bet your marketing budget on? No, not yet. But is it a platform that you should ignore? Absolutely not. You can't afford to. And here's why the timing matters. Think about what early Google ads looked like. If you were running dental ads on Google in 2003 or 2004, before every practice in your market was fighting for the same clicks, your cost per click was a fraction of what it is today. Early movers learned the platform, built the playbook, and established visibility before competition drove prices up. Well, that same dynamic plays out on every new ad platform. Facebook ads in 2011, Instagram in 2014, TikTok a few years ago. Early is cheaper. Early is less competitive, and early means you're building institutional knowledge that has compounding value over time. ChatGPT, of course, is not a new social network. It's something different and arguably more powerful. It's a platform where people go when they are actively seeking answers. That's intent-based, and intent-based advertising has historically been the highest performing channel in dental marketing, which is exactly why Google search ads have been such a workhorse for the industry. ChatGPT ads have the potential to operate in that same high-intent space, but with significantly less competition right now, and with cost per click or CPCs that are likely to increase substantially once the platform matures and more advertisers flood in. So the practices that get in now, even with modest budgets, even while the platform is still rough around the edges, are going to learn things that simply can't be learned from the sidelines. What messaging resonates? What context hints drive quality clicks? How do ChatGPT referred visitors behave on your website? How do they convert compared to Google or Meta traffic? That institutional knowledge is genuinely valuable and it takes time to build. So what should you actually do? Well, first, don't wait for perfect. The platform will improve. Geographic targeting is going to get more granular. The UI will mature. The matching will get smarter. But this is something I can guarantee. The window where early movers have an advantage, well, it's open right now, not when all of that is finished. Second, treat this as a learning budget, not a performance budget. We're not in a place where you should expect ChatGPT ads to replace your Google ads or Meta spend. What you should expect is that allocating a small, controlled test budget, maybe a few $100 to a few $1,000s, will teach you things that put you ahead of competitors who are still waiting to get in. Third, please think carefully about your context hints. Because this platform doesn't have keyword targeting like Google, the way you describe your audience and their intent is the most important lever you have. It's actually one of the only levers you have. So think about the actual questions that your prospective patients are asking ChatGPT. Questions about cost, about pain, about specific treatments like implants, Invisalign, or emergency care. Write your context hints around those real conversations that are happening already. And fourth, and this is really important to keep in mind, be ready for the experience to still be a little rough. Apply early because the application and approval process can drag. DentalScapes can actually help you with that. Don't expect the same polish you're using or used to from Google or Meta. Monitor your campaigns closely. Like I said, if you want help navigating it, work with someone who's already doing this for dental practices because that learning curve is steep And time is one of those things you just can't get back. That's actually something that separates DentalScapes, our agency, in this moment. We didn't wait for ChatGPT ads to become mainstream to start figuring them out. We were in early, we're managing live campaigns, and we're building the playbook in real time. Most dental marketing agencies aren't there yet. That's not a knock on anyone. This platform is new and fast moving. But it does mean that if you want a partner who's already navigated the access, process, worked through the targeting quirks, and knows about dental specific campaigns and what they look like on this platform, we can offer that from day one rather than learning on the fly and on your dime. But this is genuinely new territory. ChatGPT ads are not fully baked, and we're learning alongside every other marketer in the space. But I'll say this, every major paid channel that exists today was confusing and limited and imperfect when it first launched. Practices that have the strongest digital presence 10 years from now, they'll be the ones that made smart bets early, not the ones that waited until everything was figured out and crystal clear. If you're listening and want to understand how ChatGPT ads fit into your overall marketing strategy, or if you want to just talk through whether now is the right time to test them for your practice specifically, consider booking a free strategy call with us at dentalscapes.com/start. We'll take a look at where you are, where you want to go, and what the right moves are right now. All right. Thanks for listening to the Dental Marketing Mix. If this episode was helpful to you, I would genuinely love it and appreciate it if you would leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube, wherever you're listening to this. It takes less than a minute, and it means way more than you know. This podcast exists to help practice owners and practice administrators like you cut through the noise, and every review helps us reach more dentists who need to hear this stuff. I'll be back next time with more. Take care and talk soon.